and welcome to Bardom. Now, you've probably never been to this channel before, or if you have, if you are familiar with this channel and you've seen some of my other videos, you're probably wondering what the heck it is that I'm going on about. So that's why I'm here to making this video, to explain some of my purpose behind the channel and also to welcome you to Bardom. Woohoo! I'm excited. Anyway, so I started Bardom a few years ago because I wanted a summer project to work on outside of my part-time job. My idea behind this channel was so that I would share little folk tales from my own background and fairy tales that I had grown up with or had come across. So I really like the idea of being told a story. I think it's an ancient art that for some reason I want to keep going and something that I want to learn more about. I know that today we have different forms of entertainment. We have computers and we have TV, and we can get stories from that. But I know that the medieval era had its problems. I know that the Roman era had its problems. But there's something amazing about just sitting down after a long day and listening to a story. It's something that I found so amazing was that everyone from commoners to the great kings of England did, and I just find that something kind of amazing. I'm not sure why, but I just like that idea. So that was my initial idea behind this, to be telling stories that I knew, but I look back at my own personal history and it seems like I don't really know that many wonderful fairy tales and folk tales and legends. So I initially pulled mainly from texts. There was one little Grimm's fairy tale book that I mainly used as my main text, especially for almost all of the Grimm's fairy tale stories that I've told so far. Except for that one, that Deceiving Granny, that was me. I claim responsibility for that. Anyway, that's a side note, sorry. But I would like to soon be pulling from texts that I have grown up with. So I've thought long and hard about this. I've thought about who I am as a person, and I've thought about my background. I'm American, so I've been trying to figure out, at least for the last year, what it is that means. I could probably tell you stories of Daniel Boone. I could try and resurrect those stories, or Johnny Appleseed, and I've still got my eye on telling the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. But to me, these are American folktales, though, as far as I know, and these are stories that I'd totally be willing to share, although that may take some time because I've still got some other stuff in the works. But they're not really stories that I grew up with, so I'm going to be pulling from a very different text in the next video that I do. Now you see, if I had a consultant working out with me on this project, or if I was a consultant, I might not end up doing what I want to with the next video. I mean, I still need a permanent job, but I have no ill intent toward anyone, and I do mean for this channel to be as educational as possible. You see, I was raised as a Catholic, big whoop, I know, and honestly, that is where the bulk of the stories that I've really learned and have really been passed down to me, that's where they're from. So, as you can tell, probably from the timing of the calendar year, this story is not going to be Johnny Appleseed or Daniel Boone. It's a story of Christmas. I'm going to be telling the nativity story in the next video. I just figured that I should probably explain everything on this channel before I just jump into something like that. I know it's really not a big deal, but it could be confusing. So yeah, the next video that I'm going to do is story of the birth of Christ. Now I just wanted to say before this video, I'm not going to be presenting a history or a pseudo-history. I'm not going to go into the argument about what the Bible is, and I'm sorry if I insult anyone for saying that the the nativity story is just a story. I don't know what it is exactly. I know that I'm supposed to believe that it's exactly what happened, but I'm not going to get into that argument because you see, it's hard for me to even explain. But I just know that the nativity story and the stories that I will be telling that pertain to the Bible, because it's honestly something that I thought about for a long time. The stories that pertain to the Bible, they're stories that have been passed down to me, and that I'm now passing on to someone else. One last thing before I go. I'm gonna try to keep these stories as family friendly as possible, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm gonna cut out all the bad stuff. I know that the nativity story, it's kind of generally, for the most part, kind of family friendly, but you may forget afterward about what Herod is supposed to do. I'll get into all that later, but there are some violent parts to the Bible, and if I ever go into them, I'm not going to shy away from them. There are topics that I will treat sensitively. I'm not going to explain what those topics are, but if there are fight scenes and if there are battles, I'm gonna jump right into that, and I don't want anyone to be insulted by that. So that's all that I really have to say. If you did manage to make it through this video, thank you so much for listening. It really means a lot to me if you ended up making it to the end. Yeah. Well, welcome to Boredom, and I hope that you do stick around and come back anytime. I hope that I piqued your curiosity into a little bit more of what boredom is. I will always be here, there, and everywhere, because this is the internet, and so wherever the internet is, I will theoretically be. The beauty of the internet, you know, connection, amazing. Well, as I said, if you made it through this video and you've listened to all of it, thank you so much. Wherever you are, have a good day, have a good night. Anyway, bye!